Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
And now it is time for the main speaker. What is I'm sorry. The main speaker tonight is Sallie.
My name's Sallie. I'm most definitely alcoholic. Here I am in drag again for you. I didn't look like this when I was jumping freight trains going across the United States. I didn't look like this when I was walking the yard in the penitentiary. I didn't look like this when I was in the rubber room or in straight jackets or any of the other various things I did to get here. I'm from the East Coast, Hartford, Connecticut. My dad was alcoholic. I come from a family where the stuff goes on, you know, the stuff that goes on when the lights are off and you don't talk about it. And the things that go down, it's about, and don't cry, or I'll give you a reason to cry. Suck it up and shut up. And so I learned how to do that real early. And I learned how to hide, and I learned how to run away and be anything except for who I was. And then I came from a place, they had me out in Sylmar. I don't know if you knew where that is, but Sylmar used to be ranches, dirt roads, and I used to like to walk through the orchards. Because that stupid yellow bus, you know that stupid yellow bus with all the little kids and their little stupid lunch boxes, and they're all, happy and shit. Well, I was not happy, okay? I was not happy, and I didn't want to ride on your stupid yellow bus. And so I like to go through the orchards, and you find amazing things in the orchards. They call them winos. And I used to watch them. I'd hide, and I'd watch them, and they'd pass around a bottle in a brown bag, and they'd have a little bonfire going, and I thought, man, I wish I was doing that. I wish I was doing that. And when I came up, you know, I'm from the 50s, the early 50s. And so when I came up, there was this roller skating ring that was real important called the Thunderbirds. So I wanted to be a skater, and I wanted to be one of them because I just couldn't wait to push some broad over the railing. You know what I mean? With all her happy ass, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't happy. All I wanted to do is hurt somebody. So I'd get the boys in the neighborhood and I'd punish them. You know? Because if I'm going to get punished, so are you. And so I'd make concoctions and make them drink it and push them. You know, every time they like fell off a Helm's Bakery truck, remember those? Oh, you guys are probably too young, huh? They had a drawer that was ever-ending drawer of all these sweets. And when they'd close the drawer, I'd tell my friend, let's get on the back and get a ride, right? And then he'd fall off and end up in a coma, right? And they'd say, she pushed him. And then I took his brother out climbing trees, right? And he fell and broke both arms. And they said, she pushed him. And then I said, well, you got a brother left, right? I took him mountain climbing. And he fell. And they said I pushed him. And I was like, man, I'm tired of all these people saying I'm pushing people. You know, so I'm going to start pushing people. And so I did, you know, and I put maybe 3 or 4 kids in the hospital by the time I was 10. I put one girl in the dryer, fired it up. And as she spun, I said, are you having fun? And I was a nice little girl, the kind you don't take home to mama. And you know what? I grew up really fast, and I grew up hating. And then I watched them build Sylmar Juvenile Hall, and I was their first client. And I liked the juvenile hall because, you know, the girls like me. Because it's better to like me. It's better to like me, especially, you know what I mean? Especially when I be wearing boxers. You know what I mean? They're like, ugh. Because you know what? I hated men, okay? I hated men. I hated men because, you know, you made me do things that I didn't want to do. And then my dad thought it was cute to hand somebody some vodka and watch him take their breath away, you know? And I remember for that moment that felt good. Because all of a sudden, I wasn't shy. All of a sudden, I was big enough to kick your ass. And all of a sudden, you were going to do what I told you. Like what you used to tell me to do what you told me. I was going to switch it on you. And you were going to do what I said. Well, you know, we moved to Pacoima. That's a step up, right? We moved to Pacoima, and I'm the only white girl in the neighborhood. And all the Mexicans were pissed off. And so they used to like to write, "She's a whore," on the sidewalk and shit, you know, in front of my house, because all the boys were trying to go with me. And finally I got mad, you know, and I thought, you know what? All right, I'm going to learn your language, and I'm going to push you around. And so, you know, pretty soon I'm out there singing "Me Última Parranda," you know, and I'm all about, "Sabes que me vale madre." And then, you know what? I just got crazy, okay? I got crazy. Let me tell you this. I drank, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank, okay? And Thunderbird, I love Thunderbird. Instead of becoming a Thunderbird roller skater, I drank Thunderbird, you know? But it's close, right? Close. And if a cigarette butt was in it, you get your tobacco and your drink at the same time. You know what I mean? And that guy was talking about homeless. I lived in the same bush for 11 years. And so if you walked by there and you thought you heard voices, you did. It was probably me. It was me kicking it, telling the homies what they was going to bring mama home, see? Because I would write you your list. In fact, on San Fernando Road, I got the name of Dirty Sallie, right? And it was because I built a shack, basically, on the railroad track. I mean, my friends came in with lumber and everything, and what it looked like was a hothouse where you put plants. Instead, I put a bed in there. And by the time I finished with that place, before they bulldozed me down, people came out, wanted to do Eye on LA with me. And I told them, no, I've got kids. 1970, I had my first daughter. I named her Jolie, because that means pretty. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop all this shit, and I'm going to be a beautiful mom. God gave me a beautiful girl, and I'm not going to be crazy. I'm going to take care of this beautiful girl. I started hanging out in Hollywood in the clubs, because I still hated you men. I still hated you. I had that baby not because I wanted to, but because I took too many reds. You know? And people take what they want when you're wasted, passed out, and thrown. They just throw a nice party with you, you know? And so I had that beautiful girl, and I would make her a couple bottles of milk, because that's when they had those breast pumps, right? And I would give her bottles to go. And I would go to Hollywood with my girlfriend, you know what I mean? And let me check the clock. I don't see no clock. Oh, there it is. All right, wait, should I just get sober? Or no? Don't get sober yet? Okay. So I had this beautiful girl. I had this beautiful girl, right? And it didn't work. What do you want me to do? Did you ever try two at once? No. Hey, I got paid for mine, did you? That's another story, huh? This is Alcoholics Anonymous? Okay. Are we talking about my old lady, my old man, the corral I had, or what? What are we doing here? You know, to work on my corner, you had to pay me because I'd tax you. And at the end, let me tell you this. I'm gonna have all my kids. Jolie was born 1970. I couldn't pull it together. I kept drinking, going to jail. You know how many times I've been in Van Nuys division? I can't count them. Okay, I can't count them. When I finally got sober in 1993, yeah, you're looking at me, I'm 15, man. And I know that don't impress you, but it impresses the fuck out of me. Because you know what? Somebody like me, I'm on borrowed time. Have you ever heard an alcoholic old timer tell you, I came to Alcoholics Anonymous on my way to the graveyard? Well, I did. When I came to you, I weighed 86 pounds. I didn't know where any of my kids were, and I hated you, and I hated me, and I wanted another drink. I don't want nothing else. When Pacoima was bad, I moved to LA. You know the Hotel California? It ain't there anymore, but it was, and it had my name all over it. And the street would call me because I had another baby. Her name was Patricia. And I taught her how to say mommy, and I taught her how to walk, and the street kept calling me. It kept calling me because there wasn't enough alcohol. There was not enough to forget about all the things that happened to me and all the things that I did. There wasn't enough alcohol to forget about what a piece of shit that I'd become. When you don't have enough alcohol and God don't love you anymore and you don't love him, you become real dangerous. And so when I lived in MacArthur Park, I was real dangerous. I lived in MacArthur Park for 4 years, and I saw you. I was on Skid Row, and you probably saw me. I was probably asking for change. And you know what? Not anymore. Not anymore. And if you think those things can't happen to you, have another fucking drink. Have another fucking drink, and I'll tell you some good bushes you can live in. My favorite one that I lived in for 11 years, it ain't there no more. They fenced it off. I guess the property value went up. God, I've turned into a sniveling pussy. That's hard, man, because when I walked the yard, I couldn't do that. But you know what? Let's see. Okay, I had Patty, and I had her for a year. And then that street kept calling me, so I packed her. And then my 12-year-old, I told her, go get some tortillas, mija. And she ran into 18th Street. And she came back with a black eye, right? And I told her, who did that? And she goes, 18th Street. And I said, you know what? You go out there and you kick their ass, or I'm going to kick yours. And she became a gangbanger. Okay? When she was 16, they shot her with a .357 in the face and in the back. And you know where they found me? In a ditch, butt naked with a bottle of wine by a flood channel so I could bathe in it. And they go, don't you have a daughter? And I go, yeah. And they go, get in the car. And they didn't cuff me, so I knew something was wrong. And they took me there, and my daughter had been shot in the face, and her eye was hanging over here. And you know what I wanted right then? A drink. I wanted a drink. That's what I wanted. And I went with her to the county general because I didn't have any insurance. And they were doing surgeries, trying to save her life and everything. And then I went back, and I thought, they've shot my beautiful girl, and I'm going to pull it together right now. I'm going to pull it together right now, and I'm going to get somewhere, and I'm going to live somewhere, and I'm going to take her home with me. So I went and turned a bunch of tricks, found a trick, and got a room, so I have somewhere to take her. And when I walked in, they go, you know what? She's going to jail, and if you keep standing here, I know you're on parole. You're going to jail. In fact, we'll cuff you together. Because it's kind of a family disease sometimes, you know. So I had to leave her there again. And I didn't want to, but I went and had a drink. Because that's the only thing that could take away the fucking pain of being a piece of shit. I had no answers. Just give me anything. I was on methadone, 100 milligrams, doing a gram of stuff on top of it with a 5-fist Thunderbird. That was wake up. And so, you know what? God, I turned into a sniveling pussy. You know, we got lost coming down here. Thank you, Laura. I ended up in Santa Monica by the Ferris wheel, and I thought, damn, I want to go on the Ferris wheel. Fuck, hey, I'm going to go on that Ferris wheel, man. Because I never got to be a kid. I never got to be a kid. I never liked your yellow bus. I didn't know what to do with kids, but they were mad because I was gay. And they go, you're supposed to have babies. And I'm like, why don't you have some? You know what I mean? I don't want to have no babies. I don't even know what to do with them. And so I put those 2 kids on a bus. Thank you. The devil's not that bad. So I put them kids on a bus, and guess what happened? My 12-year-old, remember I told you? She met 18th Street. So she took my Patricia to the car wash where Jorge was, the father, the love of my life, the one that stabbed me. I love you. So I stabbed him, and he stabbed me, and we lived happily ever after for a while, right? But I love him. What a trick. You know, I ended up with a colostomy. I don't know if you know what that is, but it was real dramatic. They jump-started my heart, brought me back to life, and put a shit bag on me. So now I'm looking really good. I really like you. You know, come and see here so I could kill you. So, you know, they call me the Black Widow. You know what Black Widows do? They kill the old man and feed him to the kids. So that was my nickname, okay? A lot of people look at him and go, you're still here? He's been here 5 years, man. He deserves a fucking trophy. You know what? You know what's really bitching is I used to be cute. I weighed 86 pounds. If I would have had red hair, I would have looked like a thermometer. You know what I mean? I had hairy armpits that I used to tell the girls to braid for me. Hairy legs. You guys getting turned on yet? And you know what? A butch, mohawk, and I was happening. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, you know, I thought I did the right thing, and I went and partied in MacArthur Park for 4 years. It's a drag when you get stuck in MacArthur Park for 4 years. And then, somewhere in there, you know, I realized, I wonder how my kids are doing. And Patty had gave that baby Patricia to her dad, and they took her to Mexico. And I never saw her again. So I went to his job, and I broke his fucking jaw. And I stabbed him. Don't tell nobody, okay? I'll tell him. And I broke all the windows out, and I wired his jaw shut. And I told him, you better tell me where my kid is, or I'm going to kill you. I'll cut your thing off and shove it down your throat, man. And you know, he wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me. And I drank more. I drank more because I ran into the police station, Foothill Division, and I told them they took my little girl. They took my little girl, and I don't know where she is, and she's only 1 year old. You got to do something. And they said, get out of here before I run a warrant check on you. We don't have no jurisdiction over Mexico. And so I stayed loaded. I couldn't drink Patricia off my mind. I could not drink Patricia off my mind. So then I decided I'd go to prison for whatever, armed robbery, some shit. I'm in prison. And, oh yeah, okay, I'm in prison, and then what happened? Oh, I got out, and I'd been lifting weights, you know, getting all cool. I had 5 old ladies, you know what I mean? And I get out of prison, and there's this dude. Now I'm like 36 and he's like 22. And I was like, mijo, come here. Let me show you the world. Oh, bro, I can teach you a lot of new tricks. You got some money? Yes. So you know how that goes. Bam, bam, bam. And then I said, let's leave because my parole officer's looking for me. So he goes, how are we going? I go, the freight train. So I started jumping freight trains. I went across the whole United States because I heard my mom was dying in Vermont. We got stuck in a blizzard in Colorado and we found some money. You know how that goes. We found some money and bought tickets to get out of the snow. And I got to my mom's and I hadn't seen her in about 15, 20 years and I got drunk. And she threw me out. And I locked him outside. And then we came back and I ended up taking an AIDS test because when you're a hooker and you use needles and you do the things I did, it's important to take an AIDS test. And I got this 22-year-old. He's got a lot of stamina. Things are looking good. I take an AIDS test. He won't let me drink now because I went in. They go, close the door. They go, you don't have AIDS, but you're pregnant. I'm like, you're pregnant. Shit. They go, you're pregnant. I'm 36 years old and you're pregnant? Fuck you, I'm not pregnant. So I told him, oh, mijo. I come out running to him and you ever see a Mexican turn white? He thought I had AIDS, but I was pregnant. And it's his first kid, right? So I'm gonna move this story up really quick. So we end up in Carolina somewhere, and he goes and cheats on me, go figure. And I guess it was my big belly, right? I was like 8 months pregnant. So I decided, that's it, I'm killing this kid. I'm gonna kill this kid, and I'm gonna kill me, and then I'm gonna go look for him and kill his ass too. I'm killing everybody, fuck it. Anybody gets in my way is done. Get done. And I always had good friends, you know, that aren't legal. And they love to listen to me, you know. I think it's the way I sang, huh? Or the other things I did. But, so I overdosed. And some Mexican girl saved me. First I tried to have my kid on the railroad track because I figured, you know what? If I have him on the railroad track, there'll be no record of his birth. You won't know that I have a kid, and you won't be able to take this one away from me. Nobody's going to take this kid away from me. Nobody. And my friends came, 9 in a car, and they took me to the hospital. And then they called me at the hospital. A beautiful baby boy was born. And I named him Tracy. It stands for the gladiator, soldier that stands alone. So I left. Because they called me and said, your parole agent's coming, because I had a PAL warrant. Remember, I told you I was on parole and I left? So they were coming, and so, you know, I wish I could tell you, oh, yeah, I turned into that mother. Well, I did, and I left him in the hospital. And do you think I want to stand here and tell you that is what I'd become? I don't want to tell you that. But if I can't tell you the truth, I don't belong on your podium. If I can't be an open book, I don't belong up here. See? And so I left him, and I went on and on and on, and I got busted. And then I got out of prison. I went to the parent. You know how we do in prison. Oh, I'm going to be good. Just give me one more chance. I'm going to be so good. Bullshit. I overdosed on the bus with my gate money. They stopped in L.A. and I got out, you know, in the alley real quick, got me a little something, and fell out in the alley. And I made it through that one. But now I'm going to get sober because it's 9/11, okay? No, not that one. That's what time it is. That one sucked. I went around looking for everybody wearing turbans with a baseball bat. In a van named Bernard. Nobody would pull over. I knew one of them fuckers was at a gas station. I went to his gas station and he was closed. Oh well, I got off the subject. Okay. It's that time. I don't like that time, 9/11. You know why? Guess what happened? Guess what happened on my way to the graveyard? Guess what happened on my way to the graveyard? 1993. I'm living in my connections garage. And I get arrested. And the cop says, "This is a rescue, not an arrest. Do you have any sharp objects in your pocket?" Yes. Syringes, right? And I just got my big old bottle. And he said, "This is a rescue." And right there at that time, I weighed 80 pounds. And I was writing notes to tell me where the notes were, to tell me that there was a note, to tell me that there was a God somewhere and I needed to find him. I needed to find him. And all of a sudden the doors pop open and it's a cop telling me, "Rivera, step out." I come out and there's my oldest daughter, Jolie. She's a trustee. And she looked at me and she started to cry. And she said, "Mom, look at you, you're dying. Where's my sister? Where's my brother? Where have you been? What have you done? Look at you." And you know, right then, I just wanted a drink. Because I didn't have any other answers. But maybe if I take a drink, I could figure out what to say. But there wasn't one. And so I called a place called Crossroads, and a stupid man sent some beautiful woman to pick me up. In fact, there's a guy here that was in Crossroads with me. And he approached me right now. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. And so this girl goes, "I'm taking you home with me." And I'm like, all right. Hey, God heard my prayer. Look at this broad. She was nice, right? And she goes, "That's not what we're going to do." And I'm like, "So you say. So you say." Then they told me, "You got to go to this place, the 502. You got to go there." I got to get right real quick. First, the man tells me, he goes, "Hey, a little short dude behind the desk. What do you know how to do, Sallie?" I said, "I know how to do armed robberies. I know how to panhandle. I know how to do burglaries. I know how to kick your ass." He said, "How do you work step one?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, then sit down and shut the fuck up." And I was like, "Oh, man, you know what I could do?" And he goes, "Yeah, and I'll call your pro agent." And I thought, what did you tell me to do? You go to the 502 and you find a connection to Alcoholics Anonymous. So I pulled my wallet out and I showed him all kinds of connections. You know them phone books that go like this? They just flap down and look like it was beautiful, man. It was all connections. And he goes, "Those are reservations, get rid of them." So now I'm going to get sober real quick because it's 9:15. I can do that one. So I went to the 502 and there was stupid women there going, "Could you watch my purse?" I used to steal purses. Except for I had this one Mexican lady, I tried to get her purse and she's going, "No, por favor, señora, por favor." No, she wouldn't let go. Finally, I'm dragging her across a parking lot and she's going, "Please, please." And finally I said, "Oh, you could have it then." Shit, some of them were hard. But let me tell you what happened on my way to the graveyard. I got a sponsor. She told me to do the first step and do all this writing and read this book and all this other shit. And then they told me, "I want you to read the first 164 pages of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous." And I'm like, "There's no pictures? What is that book?" They go, "Your name's in it, Sallie. And exactly how you feel is in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous." And I said, "What page?" And they go, "Read the fucking book." And I found it. It says, it's on 152, "We smile at such as Sallie. inward. Our friend would give anything to take a half a dozen drinks and get away with them because he isn't happy with sobriety. One day he can't picture life with a drink or without a drink, and he'll be at the jumping off place. He'll know loneliness, and I felt like that. But let me tell you what happened. I'm going to put this on fast forward. I'm going to get into the gifts. My oldest daughter, Jolie, called me. I had a few years. I was running the men's house, Puente House, for Carl M. I ran that house, all men, me and 32 dudes, for 2.5 years. And they were all afraid of me, trust that. And my favorite dude that got there was a cop. I told him, and if you fuck up, you're going to be cleaning the shower with a toothbrush. Because I remember them telling me shit like that, you know what I mean? But, so where am I? Okay, I'm running this house. Then I get my own house and taking a cake. God is bigger than Motown. And if you're here by divine appointment. And I don't care what you've done. It doesn't matter. I remember when I told my sponsor my 4th step, I thought, this dude's going to tell me, get out of here. You're a piece of shit. And so he asked me to his house, and I sat on the floor because I go, this man knows all the things I did. He knows all the people I hurt. He knows how I lost my kids. He knows what a piece of shit I am. And he told me to get up, and he told me to sit on the couch. And I go, why do you want me on your couch? And he goes, Sallie, I don't care what you did. I care about what you're doing. See, it doesn't matter what you did. We have a wrench for every nut. We have a wrench for every nut. God is bigger than Motown. I promise you, if you stay here and you read the first 164 pages of the big book, and you get a sponsor and you do 90 and 90, the stars are the limit. Attack in sobriety. I had a back surgery in sobriety. I did interferon with no results because I had a heart attack. I wear a mask. And I was like, God, you got a sense of humor, man. And massive amounts of drugs and alcohol I've done. Jumped off buildings, been stabbed, killed, jump start. And I get sober and fall out. What the fuck is that? You know? And you know what? I'm okay with it, because guess what? There's a man right there, and he hasn't stabbed me. And he hasn't hit me, and he hasn't called me all those choice words that I'm used to. And you know, when I'm wearing that mask, he gives me a kiss and tells me I'm beautiful. And that's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted. And I have Bubba, Angel, Jose Carlos. I just had a new one named Michelle and Natalie. And they're all mine. And I got to be here to see them. I hope you stay. And I hope you don't leave 5 minutes before your miracle. I hope you know that the bottom is when you quit fucking digging. But I hope you know the bottom that I hit is waiting for you. Because yet stands, like Mickey Bush says, is you're eligible too. You know that chair and where you're sitting is by divine appointment. It's by divine appointment. We had an appointment with life. On life's terms. I love you. I truly love you. And if you're alcoholic, I know you. And if you've been to the depths of hell, I was there too. But we don't have to stay there. I hope to God you never forget your last drink. I hope you never, see, I used to compare my outsides with the way you look. And the women had their hair curled, and they had jewelry, and they had a nice car, and look, my nails are done. Is that fucking awesome? Today I'm wearing panties, if you're in. It took me 3 years when I was speaking. I still had my boxers, right? Because I was like, you know, sitting on the fence, you know what I mean? And now I've got on panties. I'm so fucking impressed. You know, I went to school to become a counselor, and I was a straight F student. I thought F stood for fantastic. And they were taking my report card long before me. It said, failure, fail, 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 does not get along with others, absent, 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 unsatisfactory, unsatisfactory, unsatisfactory. And then they go, D. I was like, all right, it's time to party. I got a D. You know what? I went to school and got A's to become a drug and alcohol counselor. Okay? And I work with a lot of newcomers, and I run houses, and I do all kinds of shit. And you know what? I'm sick. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to walk. But if I hadn't came here and you guys hadn't told me to keep coming back, and if I wouldn't have let you love me, I wouldn't be here. You'd be listening to someone else. God is bigger than Motown. Please don't leave 5 minutes before your miracle. Please don't think you don't belong here, because you do. Because you wouldn't fucking be sitting here if you didn't belong here. You know? If you have a card, it means get well. I love you. God loves you. If you don't have a God, you could borrow mine. He thinks I'm special. He loves me. He forgave me. And he brought me from the trash can to talk to you. I never could have imagined all that I've been given. I never could have imagined. The first time I was secretary and I was signing court cards, I kept looking for the detective, because usually I had a detective behind me because it was a forgery beef. You know what I mean? I'm like, these guys are setting me, because I was still paranoid. You know what I mean? I have a head that sits on the dresser, and it's talking shit before I get up. It's going, oh, yeah, why don't you get up, you fat fucker? Look at you, you're fat, you're old, your tits are hanging. You ought to use. And then I tell them, fuck you. Can I have a cup of coffee? So if you have this voice that says, you're a piece of shit, tell them to shut the fuck up. If that don't work, tell them, Sallie said, shut the fuck up.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. And let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. If that shows up, the gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.